What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today we are going to be doing a tier list of the top centers in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Now before we dive into it, it is only the primary center position, as you guys can see. Don't have a ton of cards here because I mean the center it's just not a super duper strong position. I also do want to say, you know, if I don't have the most updated list, it's because I'm recording this on the weekend, so some of the newer cards that have came out earlier this week might not be on this list if it does get down to that. Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to the channel and haven't yet, please consider smashing that subscribe button as we are on the road to 90,000 subscribers. Of course, we're started off with Al Horford. Al Horford, I mean, Amethyst isn't very good, but the Diamond card is a clutch time reward. I think you get this card for getting to 30 wins in the clutch time mode. Now we're gonna start with Al Horford's release, set shot 5. I mean, here's the deal, guys. Set shot 5 is one of the worst releases for a big man. It's just one of the worst releases for big men in general. 86 3 ball is pretty solid, good interior, decent enough lateral, speed's a little bit low. Hall of Fame badges, honestly, 5 of them aren't terrible. My thing with Al Horford, it's just like, he's a good shooter, but his release isn't very good. I'm going to start Al Horford in C tier. We might move him down, might move him up, we'll have to see. But how does Al Horford compare to Andre Drummond? That's kind of the first comparison we're going to have to draw. And quite honestly, guys, this might surprise you. I'm a little bit higher on Andre Drummond. The way I look at it is Andre Drummond's going to do a lot more for me on the defensive end of the court. I know he's not going to shoot very well, but even from the mid-range, has a serviceable enough release that he's going to be able to green shots. Combine that with, you know, one of the best rebounders in all of 2K with Hall of Fame worm, rebound chaser, and box, as well as brick wall interceptor. Decently fast. I think Andre Drummond's, I would not play the draft mode for him, but as far as big men, he's underrated. One of the best interior, if not the best interior bigs in all of 2K. Arvydas Sabonis, I'm dragging to A tier right now. Now, Arvydas Sabonis, what does he do compared even to the guy that we just looked at? Well, vertical is pretty low. Still going to be a good enough rebounder. Speed pretty low. Lateral quickness not great, but he has a 92 3 ball with Hall of Fame catch and shoot, as well as set shot 8, which is a release. I'm pretty high on. Combine that with Hall of Fame bullet and dimer and brick wall. Look at a pretty big in the game. I don't like, you know, slower centers, but if you can tolerate having a slow center, he's probably one of the best, if not the best stretch bigs in the game. Remember, he's 7'3", which is just absolutely ridiculous. Bam Adebayo up next, and Bam's just short. I mean, that's the only thing I can really say about Bam. Only 6'9". Yes, it's a little bit of a problem. With that being said, 49 steals, the only other really downfall for Bam. Outside of that, 73 3 ball. I mean, he can get catch and shoot. Release, not terrible. Playmake wise, pretty solid. It's just really the 6'9" height. 6'9" height, not a great 3 ball. I'm throwing him into B tier. I still think he is a little bit better than Al Horford. A guy who I'm actually higher on than a lot of people is Ben Wallace. Now, with me saying that, he's still not great. 6'9", 7 foot wingspan. Can't shoot the ball. Again, only 6'9". Defensively is incredible. I just want to go out and say that straight up for you guys. Defensively, Ben Wallace is absolutely immaculate. If we get a Ben Wallace later on in 2K that can shoot with the jump shot 37, we're going to be looking at a pretty good card. The problem is this Ben Wallace can't shoot. Only 6'9". I'm going to throw him into D tier just because I think Al Horford gives us a little bit more. Bill Russell, a center, I'm going to throw into A tier. Now, Bill Russell is a card, again, release-wise is not great. Set shot 17, his upper is not great. Does come with an 88 3 ball, though. Hall of Fame catch shoot corner specialist, comes with limitless. I mean, ball handle is pretty low at a 45, but look at the defense. I mean, 85 speed, maybe would like to see that a little bit higher. Good interior, great rebounder, Hall of Fame intimidator, post lockdown, and rim. Every defensive badge outside of ball stripper as well. He's one of those cards that, I mean, you can plug and play. I mean, plug in Bill Russell. I mean, he goes for what, 40,000 MT, pretty cheap. I'm gonna put him in A tier. Different than Sabonis, just more athletic, not as tall, not as big. It's really a battle of your preference with those two. Brad is gonna be our first card in F tier. Now you guys might be like, F tier for Brad, he's not that bad. Now, day one, he wasn't bad. He really was not a bad center for day one. The problem is we are so deep into 2K, whereas if you're running this card, people are gonna literally laugh in your face. Brad cannot play in this type of game anymore. He just can't. It's that simple. He just can't play anymore. Jump shot 36 is not good for a big man or for any dude in the game. Brad's just not it anymore in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Dave Cowens is our first card that I'm considering putting in S tier. Now, the reason I like Dave Cowens, I think, more than Bill Russell, although the badges, he's not as good, really comes down to Dave's release in Jump Shot 1 is so much better. Combine that with just Dave's defense, which is basically the same as Bill Russell's. I mean, defensive badges are pretty solid. Does have those 9 Hall of Famers, just lacks a few of those shooting badges that you might want on him. I feel like Dave Cowens, if you just had more total badges as a card, I'd definitely throw into S tier. And he's not out of the S tier realm. Like, he still has the ability to maybe get moved up. Probably my top of A tier is Mr. Dave Cowens. David Robinson, our first undisputed S tier player. Is D-Rob not your guys' favorite center in the game? And if he's not, I want to know who is. I think the only guy you can make the argument is better than David Robinson. Yes, some people might argue Hakeem. The guy I'm going to argue is Kevin Garnett. He's a primary power forward. I probably prefer KG a little bit to D-Rob, just at that center position because of Hall of Fame interceptor. But outside of that, I think D-Rob's the man with the plan. There's not one thing I don't like with David Robinson. You get that vertical up, maybe the 3-ball with the shoe, defensive rebounding. He can do it all. You give him a Hall of Fame chase down, or you give him chase down as quick first step, limitless, as well as some other shooting badges, sniper. You're looking at probably the most complete stretch big in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. DeAndre Ayton, he's going to get a lot of hype. I don't know about DeAndre Ayton. I mean, he's going to get a lot of hype. But here's the deal with DeAndre Ayton. 7'1", that's cool. 65 3-balls, 77 speed, 74 lateral quickness, 37 steal. I mean, DeAndre Ayton is okay. Is he that much better than Andre Drummond? Is he better than Andre Drummond? I don't know. I think he's better than Al Horford just because I think he gives you a little bit more. But when we compare him to some of the other top centers in 2K, I'm just not sold on DeAndre Ayton. I'm sorry, you guys might hate me for not being higher on DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Jordan's next. Just can't be any higher on the card. DeAndre Jordan, I'm throwing into D tier. We're talking about another inside big that, I mean, he's a little taller than a guy like Ben Wallace. Not quite as good defensively. Just is a battle of what you want. I used DeAndre Jordan in a couple games. I don't know if it was a game player on a different account, but he's one of the best rebounders in all of 2K. But that's it. I mean, he's a really good rebounder because he has good vertical, good rebounding stats. But outside of grabbing rebounds, I mean, DeAndre Jordan is very mediocre at best. DeMarcus Cousins, I'm probably going to have to go S tier with. Now, I'm not as high on DeMarcus Cousins as a lot of people are. But here's what I like about DeMarcus Cousins. Let's just start with the slasher dribble style. It's not great, but it's something that's better than big, better than, base dribble style. Combine that with the fact that he comes with quick first step, Hall of Fame catch, shoot, quarter specialist, set shooter, can get limitless, 87 3-ball. Good enough defensively. His defense isn't great. I'm not going to sit here and say it's great, but it's good enough. If you do get a mismatch, he's going to punish dudes in the paint with Hall of Fame back down, punisher, as well as post spin technician and unstrippable. He's just an all-around good big. I still prefer David Robinson to DeMarcus Cousins more than anything because I prefer D-Rob's release, as well as he's just a little bit taller. But if you want to make the argument DeMarcus Cousins is the best center in all of 2K, go ahead. I'm not going to be the one debating you on that. Dikembe Mutombo. Here's the tough one. I'm going to put him at the lower end of A tier. I don't think he's B tier. I just still don't think he's B tier level. It's crazy that we got this card 1 week into 2K. 7'2", 7'6" wingspan, 83 3-ball, can dunk, good rebounder, good vertical. The only problem is his speed. That is the only problem with this card is his speed, as well as the fact that he doesn't have any Hall of Fame defensive badges. That's the only problem. Now, if you give him this duo, now you're looking at, one of the best rim protectors in all of 2K. Without the duo, he's still solid enough. Still think he is A tier. He's just kind of like a Bill Russell. That's a lot slower, a lot taller. That's, really all there is to say. I think I prefer Bill Russell by the slightest of margins, but throw those two in the same category. This Dikembe Mutombo I'm going to throw into C tier. The only really difference between the Dikembe Mutombos is the fact that this one cannot shoot. That is the only difference. Can't shoot, has the Hall of Fame rim. It's just not enough. 7'2", he's still going to be a rim protector, but that's basically all Dikembe is getting you. Dwight Howard, here's the comparison I want to draw. I'm going to do this because I think you guys need to see this. Okay. Andre Drummond, Dwight Howard. Who is the better overall card? You want to ask me straight up? I think it is so ridiculously close. Here's what I'll say. Dwight Howard is going to be a little bit faster. Definitely matters. Andre Drummond, on the other hand, I mean, he's just got that wider player build. Same height. It's pretty close in general. I mean, in general, these cards are pretty close. Dwight Howard might have a few more Hall of Fame badges that you like Intimidator, Post-Lockdown. Drummond has some other ones. It's personal preference with these two. Wherever Andre Drummond goes is where Dwight Howard has to go. Look, you can definitely make the argument A tier. I just think having stretch bigs in 2K is so valuable, as you guys can see with my list. George Mikan, another card I absolutely love. I think George Mikan, when he came out, I wasn't super high on the card, but as times went on, I've gained appreciation for him. He will get his head mashed in by the likes of Dikembe Mutombo, by the likes of Wilt Chamberlain, by, you know, some of the David Robinsons of the world. But on the flip side of things, he's going to shoot very well. Release-wise, jump shot 4 is one of the best in the game. Fundamental dribble style for a center is very, very elite as well. And I think George Mikan is one of those cards that, because of the past years in 2K, nobody's really that high on him. But even if you stick him at that power forward position, guys, he's going to be able to hold his own in 2K. Hakeem Olajuwon, another S tier center. Hakeem Olajuwon, here's the way I look at it. He has a 3-ball, but his release is pretty bad. Look at Hakeem, even if he's just an inside center. So even if he was just an inside center, has 95 interior, he's 7 feet tall, a wide player build, great rebounder, good enough ball handler, Hall of Fame intimidator, rim protector, all the defensive badges you could want. And that all goes without saying he doesn't have a 3-ball. You give him limitless, you give him sniper, those badges. Now you're looking at a really good card in 2K. I'm not that high on Hakeem Olajuwon, more than anything because of the release, and I feel like 7 Hall of Famers, half of them are useless here in the finishing category. It's just, I can't be any higher on the card, but I respect him. I respect Hakeem Olajuwon. Just don't think he's David Robinson type level. Our first Joel Embiid here. Now, we got 2 Joel Embiids. We'll talk about the first one, and then we'll talk about what the second one has a little bit better. 71 speed, 64 lateral quickness. He can shoot, though. I mean, it kind of reminds me of an Al Horford type of player, but I think this Joel Embiid is just a little bit better because of his release, as well as the fact that he's 7 feet tall. I mean, good interior, decent enough rebounder, jump shot 47 is elite. Joel Embiid's one of those cards that we know eventually is going to be absolutely elite, and the newer Joel Embiid that we got is just a little bit better. Just got a few more badges to add to him. Does it make the world a difference? No, but does it help him out? Absolutely. You add on these defensive badges that are pretty important to the card that was already pretty solid. And then I'm going to go one step higher with this Joel Embiid, putting him in A tier. I think that just makes the most sense. This Joel Embiid is, I mean, just a little bit better than this. I do think he definitely belongs in that A tier caliber. This Jonas Valanciunas card is ridiculously bad. And when I say that, he can shoot the ball well. He's got set shot 16 though, low speed, lateral quickness. Okay, he's not that bad, but Joe Val is not good. I'm gonna throw him into C tier because of how tall he is and his Hall of Fame box and brick wall. I just am not super high on Joe Val. So if you're watching this, just know I'm not super high on Jonas Valanciunas. He's only going in here because of how weak the center position is, and because we follow it up with another inside big who's not very good in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, I mean, the center list is just weak in general. Like, Kareem's just not good in general. Is he better than Brad? Yes, but man, Kareem is not good. A card that is good, that I might spend a little bit of time talking about, is Kevin McHale. He is an S tier center, and I don't want to hear any different. I mean, you're looking at a card, 82 speed, 83 lateral quickness, good rebounder. You look at the defense, Hall of Fame hustler, intimidator, post, lockdown, rim, and ties defender. Set shot 3 is not great. I'll just be the first to go out and say that. But I think what he gives you outside of that release is good enough to be S tier. Probably the lower end of S tier. Him and DeMarcus Cousins, I think, drag up the bottom end of it. But I do respect what Kevin McHale does. If I had the card, I'd probably use him at that power forward or center position. And so I am going to throw him into that S tier category. Kristaps Porzingis, a very interesting card that I actually tried out on my No Money Spend account for a while. The problem with Kristaps is he just doesn't guard anybody on the perimeter, heck, even on the interior. He just gets bullied. I know he's 7'3". I know he's got a good release. I know he can shoot the ball. KP is one of those guys. He's going to eventually have his time in 2K. It's just that the time is not now. LaMarcus Aldridge, man. Do I even need to spend time talking about you? I mean, you are a bona fide scrub. I'll drag him into D tier reluctantly. I do not like LaMarcus Aldridge at all. Dragging him into D tier because he's not as bad as Brad. Brad might be the only person in F tier, but man, do not pick LaMarcus Aldridge up as a stretch big. He's not that. He's a guy that has a high 3 ball, but because of how bad the release is, he's just a tough guy to run on the court. It's just that simple. Marc Gasol, a guy I respect. Not enough to put him in S tier though. When Marc Gasol came out, everybody gassed him. Marc Gasol is S tier. No, he's not. He is okay, but he's not an S tier center. Speed being at a 76 is really all you need to see. 76 speed. Stat badge wise is incredible, but remember, set shot 18 is absolutely awful. If you want to say Marc Gasol is S tier, then tell me how he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay? If you can tell me how, remember, I'm not that high on Hakeem, and if you can tell me how Marc Gasol outside of a better 3 ball is better than Hakeem, I'll listen. Outside of that, I don't want to hear it. Marc Gasol is not a top 5 or even 7 center in the game, I don't think. He's solid enough to be A tier, but everybody that was on the Marc Gasol better than D-Rob train, guys, I'm sorry. It's just not the way it is. Moses Malone, again, another inside big. He has a decent enough 3 ball, right? Whereas if you apply badges, you can maybe make him shoot the ball. I'm going to drag him to A tier reluctantly because I'm not that high on his release. Set shot 1 isn't great. Good speed, lateral quickness, as well as interior. There's some people that probably love Moses Malone. Probably use him well. I'm not one of them. Moses Malone, last year, I think he had the jump shot 29. I think it was in the token market, maybe. He was absolutely incredible. He was magnificent. Until we get a Moses Malone like that, just can't be too high on him. I'm going to drag Miles Turner into A tier. I feel like I gotta drag somebody down, and because I do, Dikembe Mutombo, go ahead and go to B tier. Miles Turner, man, a guy a stretch big. I get it, guys. He is not going to be the best player in the game. 72 speed, 73 lateral quickness. Those are pretty mediocre stats. Flip side of things, 86 3 ball, good enough release. Hall of Fame rim protector is not bad at 6'11". It's kind of the battle of the best, right? Do you want Miles Turner, or do you want a 7'2" Dikembe Mutombo? I think the majority of people would lean on Miles Turner. Nate Thurman, this is the guy I got mixed up with Moses Malone. This is a card with a 63 ball, but because of his release, people are greening with him. 87 speed, 86 lateral quickness, great defensively. I just think overall, if you want to compare this card to even the likes of an Andre Drummond, as far as interior bigs, Nate Thurman's the better card. That's just my opinion on it. I just think Nate Thurman is overall the better card. If you do want to run an inside big, I think Nate Thurman is probably your best option at this point. I mean, that's just my thought process on it. We got Drummond, we got Dwight. I think Nate Thurman is just that little bit better than those two guys. This Jokic card stinks. I know there's going to be people saying, but I see people using this Jokic card and being effective with it. If you are effective with this Jokic card, I'll crown you the king of my team at this stage. This Jokic card is terrible. He can't defend a tree. He has a very, not terrible release, but not a very good release. This card is F tier. Give me Kareem, give me LaMarcus, give me DeAndre Jordan all over Jokic. Vucevic is another card I'm not extremely high on, but his stats are good. Like his stats are really good, guys. 6'11", 93 ball, decent enough speed, not terrible lateral quickness, good rebounder, Hall of Fame sniper, set shot 18. If you don't know before this video, you're going to know now that I do not like set shot 18. I absolutely cannot stand that release. Vucevic has it, and that's why I'm not super high on the card. Patrick Ewing, honestly, guys, is not that bad. He's going to get a lot of slander because he's Patrick Ewing in 2K. But he's not that bad because he's 7 feet tall. Has some good enough defensive badges. Problem with him is he's not very fast. 73 speed. If he was just a little bit faster, I'd be a little bit higher on the card. I can't be any higher than C tier. C tier with Joval, with the other Dikembe, I think is the spot for him. Rafe's going to join him. I mean, I am sorry. He might go up to B tier. But this Rafe card defensively is a liability. I want to do this, but before I make my final decision, but I'm just not very high on Rafe. I'm going to give Kristaps the edge because at least Kristaps is 7'3", and I'm going to leave it at this. If you guys are a big Rafe fan, pick up Wayne. That's as simple as I can phrase it. If you're a big Bill Russell, or if you're a big Rafe fan, pick up Wayne, who is going into A tier. I'm not super high on Wayne. He is probably at the lower end of A tier for me. But because of how well he shoots the ball, he is going into A tier. Has jump shot 18, fundamental dribble style. Not a terrible ball handler. Can shoot the lights out of the basketball. Again, I'm not that high on Wang, but if you don't put him at A tier, I want to know why. Shaq, I'm going to throw into C tier. Wilt, I am going to throw into B tier. If you're wondering why I'm higher on Wilt compared to Shaquille O'Neal, it comes down to one stat. The stat is stamina and wingspan. Wilt's player build is ridiculously good as well. When I play against Wilt, he outplays my center half the time. When I play Shaq, it's really never that big of an issue. Shaq gets tired after 2 possessions. I think Wilt is definitely the guy that I prefer to a Shaquille O'Neal. So, if I did kind of want to even out this list, here's what I'll do. I'll even this list out just a little bit. I mean, I gotta drag, if I had to drag one dude down from D tier, I guess it'd probably be LaMarcus Aldridge. Dragging a dude down from C tier, probably lean Al Horford. No, Al is not that bad. I probably honestly lean Shaq for the time we're in. Dude down from B tier, we're probably looking at Wilt, and at this stage, probably KP. Looks a little bit better. A tier, I just need to move one dude down. I mean, if you're moving one dude down, I don't know who it's gonna be. Are you guys gonna move Sabonis down or a guy like Miles Turner? I think Miles Turner probably is the guy that weighs it down. This looks a little bit better. I think this is where I'm gonna leave it, and that is going to wrap it up. If I had to move one dude up to S tier from A tier, I'd probably lean Bill Russell, to be completely honest with you guys. It's gonna wrap it up for our center tier list today, guys. Again, if you don't see any of the newer cards that did come out earlier this week, if there were any centers, it's because I pre-recorded this video because I am on vacation. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this tier list. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Did I miss out on anybody that you guys would have liked to see on the list? Too high on some people, too low on some people? Let me know down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.